Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Saturday, June 27th. Man, 2020 has been a rough year, huh? We're almost halfway through, though, so it's almost in our rearview mirror. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So first and foremost, just want to let you know we did achieve 100 thumbs up for each of our daily financial news. So that means in about 30 minutes, I will be going over 2 pages of questions that you all sent me throughout the week. So that will be fun. That will go from 8 a.m. to 9 or whenever I'm done with questions. So we'll see with that. Friday was an interesting day. I actually put out a note late Thursday going, ooh, not a good news cycle for Friday. Kind of spoke to you again Friday morning about what I expected and was close. You know, every everybody gets right once, I guess. So I thought that was interesting. For me, though, as I sat back and thought Friday and pretty much all morning is was Friday just a blip, right? It was a kind of a perfect setup. The news cycle was kind of just just all bad, as I kind of talked about Thursday. So does that turn out to just be a blip and we're back to going higher next week? Or did we just witness a sea change in consumer behavior? I think it's really too soon to tell. I think a lot of that will be what goes on this weekend. Obviously, Texas going backwards a little bit, Florida freezing, now California, one of their towns down south actually telling its citizens they're back on lockdown, right? I think it was Emerald. I don't remember what city it was. I didn't write it down, but it's basically south of San Diego near the Mexico border. Uh, we can't go backwards, right? We're certainly not going to have a national shutdown again. That won't happen. But how bad is this going to get? So it's going to be interesting to watch all weekend. It's one of the reasons I thought traders, right, not investors, but traders would get flat heading into the weekend, right? They didn't want the weekend, the risk of the weekend being negative. So we will see what happens. But as I look at the morning, some things that we haven't talked about as we closed out Friday. Wirecard, I think Wirecard hit our collective radar about 10 days ago. And I think the very first time I talked about them, I'm like, kind of seen this movie before. And, they were very quickly going to be bankrupt. Now, in Germany, it's called insolvent. They didn't call it a bankruptcy, but they are now insolvent. They're done. Uh, you know, kind of their CEO going to jail. That was an interesting twist, being arrested. I did not see that coming. Again, don't know the company. But hey, lose $2 billion, where it's at. I think the next thing, again, we had similar experiences with Enron. I was an investor in that, so I get it. And unfortunately, WorldCom as well. Next up will be the accountants, right? Somebody had to certify those books quarter after quarter, right? $2 billion doesn't go missing in a weekend, right? It is obviously a fraud that has been long served. So my suspicion is there will be some accountants at some very big German firms that are in the hot seat because somebody had to certify those books, and you know, not a very good reputation builder for the finance industry in Germany as a whole. So Wirecard, I think, still has Wirecard gone, but now we're going to see what the ramifications are. I don't know if you saw this, but we've talked about Facebook and this building wave of folks saying they're not going to advertise on their platforms for July, which is just around the corner. Looks like Coca-Cola has come out, and now they were very specific in their release on two fronts. One, they're going to postpone or delay or freeze all advertising on social media. So all of their dollars across all platforms for the month of July. They also, second, they were very clear not to connect this decision with any other protest. I don't know why that was, but Coke's a brand. It was, at least at one time, one of the most recognized brands around the planet. So they probably Well, they are. They're very brand conscious, and they probably don't want to be attached to anything. But clearly, Coca-Cola freezing all social media advertising is a big deal. And again, like I've said the last 2 or 3 days, any one company kind of stepping back from Facebook and Instagram is not a big deal, but it's the collective wave that is building. And if they're not careful, it could become a tsunami, which is very, very destructive and dangerous. Because again, Facebook's revenue, I don't know what it is, it's got to be over 80% comes from advertising. So they can't lose that. To that end, Zuckerberg, after market hours, came out with a, I don't know, what felt to me to be a rushed statement, basically saying, "Hey, we're not gonna we're not gonna advertise hate speech or something of that nature." I think Zuckerberg, in his rushed announcement, did two things. First is um, he gave validity to the boycott, right? And second, he's now given an answer that the boycott can push back to, saying not enough. So this is going to be something to watch through the month of July, because I don't think this is over by any stretch. More and more stuff happening in the kind of lending arena that we need to pay attention to, because it's just showing how skittish banks are and are becoming. You and I have probably seen zero rate balance transfers over the years. Pretty much every bank, as of this weekend, has greatly reduced, and actually American Express has canceled that program. So credit card industry, banks are getting pretty nervous. And again, that bank stress test Thursday, I think that was a sea change. That was one of the things that made me put together that Thursday afternoon video, because it was not what I expected. And far, basically, there were some bad stuff in that test. So pretty interesting. Other things going on. I don't know if you've seen this. I've seen it cross my page a couple of times, but now it's kind of, we should at least talk about it. It looks like China and India are having a couple of skirmishes about a border. There were some unfortunate fatalities a few weeks ago in the dozens. Again, military against military. That's not good. I can only imagine if that were to flare up, what that would cause in that region. But again, there's as the world turns, if you will, there's a lot of stuff going on that could really spark some interesting outcomes. And China is definitely trying to flex its muscle. There is no question that China wants to be the number one country in the world. And for that matter, I think that was true 5 years ago, right? I don't think there's anything interesting about this month, this event, that makes China want to stand up and be number one. I think they always want to be number one. I think most countries want to be number one. But they are clearly making moves. They're playing the chessboard. They're trying to use our, I don't know, reputation, reaction, whatever you want to call it, they're trying to play the game board while we are dealing with some stuff here. So definitely something to watch out for. I did see an article that I wanted to kind of ask you about, and that was the number one money behavior for kids. I think I've shared a few times one of my, I don't know, what's softer than regret? It's not really regret. Basically, when we were raising our daughter, we didn't do a great job of teaching her about money, right? We were very education, go to school, your job's to get educated, but we didn't really teach about money. Um, that's always been something I wish I did better. But so I wanted to ask, what are you trying to teach your kids about money? Do you talk to your kids about money? That was something I wish we would have done different, right? We were struggling in our bubble and trying to hide what we were doing or insulate from our daughter. So I don't know if that was the right idea. We certainly took her on some trips with us to go see houses, but I think we could have done better. But I don't know. That's just what I think. Another thing is, it's official. Homes are selling faster this summer than the last 2 years. Some of that's obviously the spring selling season moving over. Some of that is lack of supply and just crazy bidding wars because of lack of supply. So average days on market is 22 versus the last couple of years with 38. Again, that's kind of math or statistics getting in our way, right? The supply is so low, the demand just outpaces it. So it this feels artificial to me. This doesn't feel normal, but I'm here to say this could continue, and if it does, prices are going to go up. But this just it feels it feels artificial to me. Uh, just saw this morning in one article. I need to validate this, but it's enough of a headline that we should at least acknowledge it. It looks like the EU, so Europe, has said it is barring Americans from entering their region because of this health event. Um, that's a big deal, right? I need to validate that that's happening, what the dates are, all of that. But even if it's just for a month or a couple of months, the fact that the EU is saying no thanks, that's I didn't think I would ever see that. So this will be interesting to watch. Um, what else do we got? Oh, the NBA. As you know, I'm a Warriors fan. If you can't see that, that's my Warriors hat. I need to get a haircut. That's why I'm wearing a hat today. But the NBA schedule came out, and unfortunately, the Warriors aren't playing because they're the worst team in the league. But they're going to have games starting July 31st, up to 6 games a day. And the other thing that happened in the NBA is they had 16 positive tests of their athletes. So we still got 5 weeks, I think, until opening day or whatever they're now calling it. Is this still opening day if it's a continuation of the season? I don't know. Can't be opening day. Nah, whatever. But again, it'll be interesting to see if this holds together. Obviously, Florida is kind of spiking with cases now. Um, I certainly hope it does. I think one of the things that we've been missing since March is live team sports. Obviously, live team sports doesn't mean anything in a health event if these athletes are put at risk. Obviously, don't do it. But I think that's something that has been missing. So lots of stuff going on. I think this weekend is going to be important. I think it's going to be interesting. We got to see whether or not Friday was a blip or a sea change. And I don't know. I have no idea. For all I know, the weekend can go by with no events. Monday, we're off to the races, right? We make back the 700 points and it's like it never happened. Or Friday could prove to be a sea change where people are now realizing that Wall Street and Main Street are disconnected like never before. And you're going to start to see weakness in the stock market. I don't know yet. I'm going to watch all weekend. If I see anything and I feel like I can make a call, I will. If I won't, then we'll just get into Monday and see what happens. All right, everyone. We are going to get ready to do our live stream. Just your questions here at 8 o'clock Pacific. So I wish you, if you're going to be on, we'll see you there. Otherwise, we will talk to you tomorrow on our daily financial news. Take care. Bye.